A lot of you have followed my channel or are familiar with my work with elementary math, but before I was helping homeschoolers with elementary math, before I wrote Apology of Math, the first thing really that I started doing for homeschooled students was teaching SAT math prep. I have been helping homeschooled kids get ready for the SATs for a very long time. I've lost track of how long. All I can tell you is that they've changed the test 3 or 4 times on me while I've been helping students. I'm really passionate about it because I think for homeschoolers in particular, that objective standardized test score really validates your high school transcript. It's something that colleges can see right away and realize they're working with a strong student. I also got a scholarship based partly on my SAT scores, and that's kind of what first piqued my interest when I was in high school. And I've seen that happen again and again for my students where the their SAT score really helps them earn a scholarship and save a lot of money. So I'm really passionate about it. I think it's worthwhile to study for the test, prepare for the test. And even if you're not thinking just in terms of the score, reviewing for the test really just gives you an overview of high school math, and a lot of kids make connections while they're preparing for the test that really helps them sort of seal their knowledge and group things together. I think an online class is so beneficial when you're preparing for the test for several reasons. One is that you get the accountability. You have a teacher, me, coaching you, encouraging you, holding you accountable, helping you space your studying. Because we always start out new school years or new semesters thinking, I'm going to do this, I have all these goals. But the actual crunch time when we have all the different courses and extracurriculars, it makes it more challenging. So signing up for a class just makes sure it's going to happen. I think also a benefit that a lot of people don't expect is that it's fun. In the live classes, if you take my live section, there's a lot of camaraderie, there's humor, there's just kind of the validation of realizing that it's challenging for other students too. They're in this with you. A lot of times what I love to spend time on in the live sessions is showing kids, hey, that mistake that you made is very common. Lots of other kids make that as well. Or working with them on faster ways. Like, you did this correctly, but do you see how this other student got there so much faster? That sort of classroom energy and learning from each other is so important and so helpful. I started off teaching SAT math prep with a live class, and that's still my favorite way to teach it. We meet weekly live on Zoom so that there can be interaction. I can give feedback in the moment, right? I can just be talking you through it, and I'm also there to check up on you, make sure you're getting your assignments done. But I also saw that many of my students were very busy. They had crowded schedules. They couldn't necessarily put a Zoom session in to their week. And so then I created a self-paced version, which is very similar in the content, but it just doesn't have that live Zoom session, and there's a little more flexibility. Let's take a look inside the class so you can see how it works. So my class is on a site called Canvas, and this is all through AIM Academy, which provides lots of different online classes for homeschoolers. This is the homepage for the class, and you can see that several of the resources that I use. All the live classes are on Zoom. I feel like post-COVID, most people are familiar with Zoom. There's several advantages to having your math class on Zoom, and one is that the students can send me questions and also their answers to the problems privately, like just to me, not in front of everybody. So many kids are more willing to ask a question in the chat box on Zoom rather than raise their hand in a live class. And every time we do practice questions, I have each student respond to me privately, so I know where every student is at, and I can say, hey, many of you got 5, but that isn't correct, here's why. And so it really creates a great environment for learning and improving and not being embarrassed or worried about that. We use Khan Academy for our practice problems because Khan Academy is the best aligned with the test. And I should say that's for the SAT, but I also have created the course in such a way that you can use it to prepare for the ACT as well. All right, and then you can see here assignments popping up for my fall students that are going to be starting soon. That's just an example right there of one of the great things about taking the online class is that I've broken it all down into weekly chunks for you so that you're getting enough studying done each week, but you aren't feeling overwhelmed by everything you have to cover. All the materials are under modules. So all of the live classes are recorded and posted in case a student has to miss a class. It's not a big deal. They can just watch the recording. And then from there, the content is sorted by week. And each week, the students will have certain assignments they have to work through. The first week, every student takes a practice test, and I always make sure that this experience mirrors the actual test. So now that the SAT is digital, if you're preparing for the SAT, you are going to download that Blue Book app. You're going to try to use the same laptop that you might plan on using the day of the test. I talk to the kids about what are your plans on test day. Okay, you want to try to mimic that as much as possible. That assignment right there is worth its weight in gold because so many students figure out some bugs, make sure they're all sorted, have their stuff together, and it just takes the stress off test day. Once students take a practice test, after that, things become differentiated. So I'll show you, if you look down here, you'll see that I have Algebra 1 Review Level 1 and then Algebra 1 Review Level 2. So what will happen is no student completes all these assignments. I have the assignments sorted and I look at the practice test results. I look at your math background, your goal score, and all these things, and then I handpick and assign to you what I think is going to be most beneficial given the time you have to prepare. So let me just show you an example so that you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Let's say that I think you should review solving linear equations based on your practice test results. So you would enter in here and there is a video about solving equations. After you watch the video, you're going to answer questions and submit it so that I can see how you are doing. Each week we focus on one aspect of the content, whether it's algebra or geometry or data analysis. And then at the end of the 7 weeks, you either take your test or you take a second practice test. So you can see all these resources. Students also systematically work through Khan Academy so that they are getting all that practice. There's so many reasons to prepare well and diligently for the SAT, but one of my top reasons for encouraging students to sign up for an online class is you have a teacher who's passionate about it, so I would love to have your students sign up for my class.